Alastair reviews it. Good day, gentle viewers. It's time to booktube. This is actually my first booktube video of my booktube after doing a lot of movie reviews. Today I'm going to be doing a video about my favorite books as a kid. So when I was a kid, my mom grounded me. I want to say I was in 4th grade, and she said that I couldn't, play Xbox, watch TV, go outside and play with my friends if I didn't read. So my biggest thing was that I needed to read. So for every hour that I read, I would get half an hour of time to do whatever I wanted to do with. So I decided to start reading Harry Potter. So my dad had read the first couple books of Harry Potter to me when I was a kid, and I decided that was a good place to start because I liked when he read it, but I did not expect to love it. So Harry Potter was the first book series I've ever read. First real books I've ever read, and I'm sure this is the same for a lot of you. I immediately fell in love with the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I loved J.K. Rowling's writing style and the way she'd use like little quirky names like Longbottom. And then whenever I'd read the books, I'd get so freaking hungry. I'd get so hungry all the time, especially when they talked about breakfast stuff. Like, I just can't help it. I, like most people in the world, was distraught when I turned 11 years old and I didn't get a letter in the mail that I was accepted to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I went on Pottermore.com and I got sorted into my house. I am from House Slytherin, and I am happy, I am proud to be a Slytherin. If you haven't done that yet, you can figure out which house you're in. So Zach also got sorted, and guess what house he's in? Hufflepuff. He's a Hufflepuff. Anyways, I had read the 1st through the 5th books, and I had loved them, and they had such a lasting impact that I even went to the premieres of the 6th and the 7th book at my local Barnes & Nobles. Oh, and the 3rd book, the 3rd Harry Potter book, is my absolute favorite. As you can tell, I've read this many times. I've lost the sleeve and it's falling apart. If Harry Potter was a series that started my love affair with books, Cirque du Freak was a series that ensured that I kept on reading. This actually was a movie, and it was horrible. I was looking forward to watching it, and it was one of the worst book to movie adaptations I've ever seen. I don't know what is wrong with horrible adaptations of books, but if you're gonna make a movie from a book, especially young adult books, which don't seem to get any respect, then make it right. There's an entirety of 12 books in the series, and at the time, it was my favorite series ever. It had everything I loved. And on the front of the book, I think it was on the back. It said, Buffy and Angel fans would love to read this book series. And I was like, well, I'm a Buffy and Angel fan, so I started to read it. It had drama, it had brutality, it had like all the action that you'd want in one of those series. I loved it until I got to the last book, and I absolutely hated that last book. I actually picked up some of his other books, the Demonata series I have back here, but I never finished the Demonata series just because I didn't want Darren Shan to ruin it like he ruined his Cirque du Freak series. So, Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. I absolutely love fantasy books, and the Inheritance Cycle was everything I craved when I was a kid. So the book tells the story of a farm boy named Aragon who finds a mysterious stone in the mountains. Not knowing the stone's origin or worth, he attempts to use it as a payment to a butcher. A dragon later named Saphira hatches from the stone, which was really an egg. So this is an epic fantasy book that spans 4 books. It was supposed to be a trilogy, but he called it a cycle later because he wrote too much, which thank God. I loved it. He actually started these books when he was 15, so the earlier writing can seem a little bit juvenile now that I look back on it, but he really gets better. It's kind of like pizza. Like, I love pizza, and even if the pizza's bad, it's still pizza. And the pizza got really good over time. I don't know, it's like he started learning how to make pizza and it was good, and the pizza was much better towards the end. So some people criticize this book because of how it relates to other series such as Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, because he uses a lot of the same magic systems, or he uses elves and dwarves and dragons and stuff like that. And he also uses the typical hero and the mentor for the hero. And it was also made into a pretty freaking damn horrible movie. I thought the acting was really good. I thought they had a great choice of actors for the movie, but it just went horribly. My next one is Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Rick Riordan. This book was actually written by Rick Riordan for his kids. So his kids had, I think one of his kids had dyslexia, and he wanted to incorporate that into a book. So he made it so that the characters in his book also have dyslexia, but that's actually a sign that they're a demigod from one of the gods from the Olympic pantheon. It follows a boy called Percy Jackson as he learns that his father is a god. And you go through the book, and it's really nice because it's a kid's book without being kid-like. Like, it's believable, but not too gruesome. Rick Riordan has actually won several Goodreads awards for his middle grade fantasy. He's like the top-notch writer for middle grade fantasy, and he's actually done a bunch of spin-offs of this book. And he's done some of like Egyptian gods and Roman gods, and it's like really interesting. If you love mythology, you'll love whatever Rick Riordan writes. It's what he thrives in. The last series I want to go through, as you noticed, I really like series. It's like having friends. Is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. Now, I was obsessed with the series when I was younger. I was absolutely obsessed with it. So Uglies is a 2005 science fiction novel by Scott Westerfeld. It is set in the future post-scaredy dystopian world in which everyone is considered an ugly, then turned pretty by extreme cosmetic surgery when they reach the age of 16. It tells the story of teenager Tally Youngblood, who rebels against the society's enforced conformity after newfound friends Shay and David show her the downsides of becoming pretty. I really enjoyed the play on language and the world building that went into this. It was believable. The technology advances were believable. They were really cool. This is actually a book that I would love to have seen on the big screen. I have read some of Scott Westerfeld's other books. He has the last book in the Uglies trilogy called Extras. It's almost an add-on, and it isn't really good. If you just read, it's Uglies, Pretties, Specials. It's dystopia before dystopia was the genre to write about for young adult readers. These are all the books that are the base of my love for reading. Let me know in the comments below what got you into reading. Were you a sci-fi fantasy reader like me? Or did you read Pride and Prejudice? Or maybe Goodnight Moon? Goodbye, guys. Hasta luego. Hey, are you a subscriber? Please subscribe. There's videos that you can watch. Watch the videos. Click on another video. Like to make you part of the Alastair Reviews family. That was really weird.